Good morning. Today we're going to read Curious George, My First Bike. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. George ate breakfast every morning with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. One morning the doorbell rang. It was the mail carrier with a big box. What was inside? George was very curious. A blue bike. George had always wanted one. I must go now, said the man. Be careful with your new bike and keep close to the house while I am gone. George could ride very well. He could even do tricks. Monkeys are good at that. George saw a paper boy passing by. He had an idea. George could deliver the papers for the boy on his new bike. He delivered some papers in the neighborhood. When he came to the last house, he saw a little river in the distance. George was curious. He was also getting farther away from home. George rode his bike to the river and saw a duck family floating downstream. What fun! Then George had another idea. George folded a newspaper page into a boat and placed it in the water. It floated. George made more boats. How many were there? More than he could count. As he watched the boats float down the river, he wasn't looking where he was going, and George crashed. George was not hurt, but one wheel was broken. How was he going to get back home? George tried to ride the bike, but of course it wouldn't go. So he started carrying it, but soon got too heavy. George did not know what to do until he had another idea. He could do a trick and ride on one wheel. So he rode one wheel by the river and through the neighborhood all the way home. A crowd gathered around to cheer for George and his amazing bike trick. Then he saw his friend, the man with the yellow hat. George, I've been looking for you everywhere, and I'm so happy to have you back home. George was happy too. The